Welcome into the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to Odessa Jackalopes Hockey here on their YouTube live channel, audio-only feed. I see that we have the national anthem being performed, so right after this, I'll get the starting lineups for you from the American Bank Center. Well, the national anthem has finally been performed here for game number 2 at the American Bank Center. Again, my name is Michael Wazinski, the voice of the Odessa Jackalopes for this 2021-22 season. I am not with the team for this 3-3 series. However, I am at the Ector County Coliseum calling this game remotely, just like I did yesterday, in a very dominant performance that the Jacks had once again against the IceRays. This time it was a victory for them by a score of 6-3, and it was also the first time of the 6 games between these two teams in which both teams scored more than 2 goals, and it was the first time out of the past 3-3 series, and this is again the 4th and final 3-3 series for the Jacks this season, but the first time they won in game 1 of a 3-3 series. They will look to do it again here in the middle game. I will quickly go over the starting lineups for game number 2. For the Jacks, they're going with second line Ryan Kelly, Chris Duclair, and J.R. Perdian. On defense will be John Wojciechowski and Desmond Johnson. And between the pipes will be Alex Proctor, who played at the Top Prospects Tournament back on Monday and Tuesday against Team East and Team Central. For the IceRays, it will be Jude Curtis, the captain, Charlie Berkeley, the assistant captain, Dylan Contreras on the right wing, Brady Carlock, the assistant captain, on defense, and alongside Casper Gilbert. In between the pipes will be Stefan Carney, who started yesterday and then was yanked after allowing 3 goals on 8 shots. Replacing him was Damon Beaver. As now it's played out by the IceRays. They're going left to right from your vantage point on Hockey TV. As the Jacks again are wearing their road black jerseys with red numbers, they go right to left for periods 1 and 3. As IceRays have it near side wall, right in front of the benches, Contreras pass the red line, will fire it deep. Last weekend, these two teams played Friday and Saturday. The Jacks won pretty handily and easily, I might add, 7-1 on game number 1. They ran Damon Beaver from the net after he allowed 4 goals on 15 shots, replacing him with Stefan Carney. Then the IceRays came back and won game 2, 5-2, as they fire one and score! 65 seconds in, and they wrist it right past Carney, picking up where they left off last night. 1-0 Odessa. Goal scored by Nick Ahern, his 6th on the season. And after it is Odessa. Again, this is the 4th of 5th straight between these two teams. This is also game 7 of 8 on the regular season against one another as it's sent near side to the captain, Dvorny. He'll streak in. Send it across. That one will deflect over to the far side corner. Jacks keeping pressure alive as this time, however, it will be gloved into the right mid by Carney after he allowed a goal 65 seconds into the opening period here from the American Bank Center. 3-0 are the shots in favor of the Jacks here in game number 2. Trevor Tallene back in the lineup after not playing yesterday, as that shot's going to be quickly covered up for the whistle by Stefan Carney. And another shot added to the board for the Jacks. I know there's a lot of Jacks fans in attendance at the American Bank Center. If you, again, live around the Gulf of Mexico where the IceRays play at, or if you made the trip over, again, thank you for supporting the Odessa Jackalopes as they are currently in third place in a playoff spot. Again, top 4 teams make it from each division. And right now, currently tied for first are the Ice Wolves and the Brahmas at 53. Over to Contreras. He tries to flip it across to Curtis. Curtis with it. Sends it all the way over to the near side. To O'Keefe. He'll just send it around the yellow trim to the far side. As now it's recovered by the Jacks. As they bring it out from their own zone, they get some air underneath of it. Icing will be waved off as Mansfield will beat out the icing call. He scored one of the 6 Jacks goals yesterday. Dane Hoyard had another multi-goal game against Corpus Christi. His 3rd of the season. 2 others were hat tricks. Cool. And he will grab a hold of it, played back up top and saved by Proctor from a shot just below the blue line. 17:06 left to go. Here in period number 1, Jacks already up 1-0. Jacks are 17-5 when scoring the game's first goal, as that one shrugged off by Proctor over to the far side boards. Worked below the goal line. And now some open ice for the Jacks as they look to go north with it through the logo. Played over to Finn as he tried to feed it right back to the slot. It will counter all the way back out into their own zone as they play it in front of the benches. And actually goes up and into the IceRays bench for a whistle. As we get a stoppage with 16:42 left on the clock here in the opening period. Again, I'm doing this broadcast remotely for this 3-3 series. I will be back with the team next weekend at the NYTEX Sports Center in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas to go up against the Lone Star Brahmas. That will be the final 2 games of the regular season between those 2 teams. And all 6 games against one another have been separated by 1 goal, 4 of which went into overtime, 3 in a shootout, all 3 of those won by the Brahmas, who again are tied with New Mexico for first place out of the South Division. And Jacks and Corpus Christi have both played the most amount of games across the South Division. This is game number 43 for both of them. Jacks will be off and away from the ice at the end of February as they send it all the way back up top. Kept alive by Carlock. Sent over to Butler. He had one of the 3 goals. One of the 3 goals for the IceRays yesterday as now the Jacks come away with it. Purdy weaves his way from left to right. Rolled off his tape. Carlock on his back. Purdy turns and fires one to the corner. And Goldberg will body Ahern off the puck as that one's launched all the way out through the red line. Hewitt snaps it across the air. He gets around one. He fires a high riser, one that kisses off the glass behind Carney. Carney only played about 13 minutes and change in yesterday's game before being replaced. Again, only had 5 saves on 8 shots. Berkeley sends it all the way down. Wiping out below the goal line was Nekamiev as he blew a tire off to the left of Proctor. Odessa through the logo now. Hughes trying to avoid a hip check. And his pass is intercepted by Corpus Christi. As Curtis will fire one towards Proctor, and he is able to reel that one in right in the middle of his chest as he gets a whistle with 14:32 left to go here in period number 1 from the American Bank Center. We also have a media timeout coming out of that save from Alex Proctor. Shots are 4-3 in favor of the Jacks. You're just about 5.5 minutes into the opening period. The last time the IceRays lost 2 games in a row was January 14th and the 15th when they were swept by the Shreveport Mudbugs in Shreveport, Louisiana. And the last time they lost 2 games at home was December 9th and the 10th when they were swept by Amarillo. Sent back up to the top of the left point. Broken up by the Jacks as they quickly play it forward. Mansfield with it. From the left circle, he fires one that's punched to the boards by Carney. Sent to the top of the right point. That one's tipped wide. Begier unable to keep it alive for the Jacks. And now it's a 4-on-2 for Corpus Christi. To the right circle, and Contreras unable to gather it as it was played too quickly ahead of him, as now the Jacks are able to clear their zone, and it's worked right back by Corpus Christi. Tallene with it from behind Proctor. Send it all the way out to the neutral zone. Again, Tallene was not in action yesterday. He has the puck off to the right of Proctor. He is now committed to Ferris State University. And a long stretch pass across. Was fortunate to not be picked off by the IceRays as it was dangerously almost on a breakaway for them, as almost able to sidestep around the opposition was Kusler. Kusler finds it right back on the stick. Now near side for a shot by Devorny that hit a body in front. 7 minutes gone here in period number 1. Jacks are up 1-0 over 5th place Corpus Christi on a 6-point swing here at the American Bank Center. Jacks are 3-2-1 against Corpus Christi this season. It's set on the far side as a shot is saved by Carney. Retrieved down low by Corpus Christi as they play it forward. And they go offside, called by the linesman. Jacks are 23-15-1-3 here during the 2021-22 campaign. The IceRays are 20-20-2. And this weekend, it is actually a 3-3 series between Amarillo and New Mexico, starting today and ending on Super Bowl Sunday. Shreveport is going up against Lone Star. And El Paso is at Wichita Falls, as that one's going to be nice and caught against the Jacks. So an offensive zone draw will come up here for the Corpus Christi IceRays with 12:11 remaining in period number 1. All 3 goals by Corpus Christi yesterday were off of special teams, which I think has to be the driving point for this Jack squad and head coach Scott Dewar going into game number 2 today. It's obviously a great sight to see that they were able to score 65 seconds in thanks to Nick Ahern. But the special teams was their Achilles heel yesterday, allowing 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal as well, which is very rare for the Jacks to give up. They only given up 2 all season. Carney turns it over, and the Jacks trying to feed it right back to the slot. Only man there was Zagzebski of Corpus Christi. As now there's 11:30 left to go here in period number 1. IceRays come away with it from the board battle. They have it along the left wing as they try to find Blake Lewis, broken up by good defensive play by Odessa as they send it over to the far side. Nikamiev will play it to the corner. Desmond Johnson tries to flip it off the glass. Kept alive by Wanamaker only for a second. And it will be back to Charlie Killian. We'll throw it off the short bench boards all the way over out through the neutral zone. Nikamiev sidesteps around 1. And will dribble right behind the net of Proctor. 10:40 left to go here in the first period. Killian fires one and hit a body in front. Good block shot from the Jacks. Sacrificing the body to keep the frozen rubber away from Proctor. As that one's going to go all the way down towards Carney as he has to whip it over to the far glass. IceRays clear their zone. A race through the red line out of the blue. As they try to stretch it rink wide as it's poke-checked back out by Odessa. 10:10 remaining here in the first period. As Bankier, one of the assistant captains for the Jacks, just easily wasting time and just patiently setting things up behind Proctor. As now he'll throw it all the way forward. Gets a deflection from Mansfield, so no icing will be called against Odessa. As now Corpus Christi looks to turn the other way with it. Bankier with it on the far side. Bankier fires it in the open ice along the left side. Jacks throw it right back between the circles, but it's recovered by Corpus Christi. And now Contreras will get around 1. He has an option in the slot. Contreras from the right circle, caught by Proctor right in the left mid. And he gets a whistle with 9:17 left to go here in period number 1. And again, the score is 1-0 Odessa here from the American Bank Center in game number 2 of this 3-3 series. Shot deflects all the way over to the far side. Players come together, still fighting for the puck, and it's won by the Jacks. Casey with it, and he turns it right over to Finn. Manzo hits the brakes and had an IceRay player slide right past him. Offside are the Jacks. As there's a IceRay player slowly get back to the bench, and that was Casey. 8:35 remaining here in the opening period. Carlock sends it all the way down. Not tipped by a fellow teammate, so icing is called against Corpus Christi with under 8:30 remaining here in the first of 3 periods. I will try to update everybody on our YouTube live stream as the Rest of the South Division is in action today, tomorrow, and of course the Amarillo and New Mexico 3-3 series that again started today and will conclude on Sunday. There's a lot of confusion right now among the lineups that are being changed for Corpus Christi. They finally get their 5 skaters on the ice as they win the draw from their own zone. Play it right over to Lewis. Down to the right of Proctor it will be played. Jacks went 0 for 3 on the man advantage yesterday. Corpus went 2 for 5. Jacks have it. Out in front, they look for a tip, and that one will go up and out of play. Just under 8 left to go here in the first period. 1-0's the score thanks to Nick Ahern notching his 6th goal here in the North American Hockey League. So right now, out of the break in the action after it went up and out of play, it's going to be an offensive zone draw for the Odessa Jackalopes on that far side circle in the IceRays zone. Corpus Christi wins it back. Sent off the wall by Killian and actually up and out of play. So they will drop it once again from the same dot. Puck will be dropped at the same dot as it was just a second or two ago to the blocker hand of Stefan Carney, who did not finish the game yesterday but started it as he was pulled after giving up gave up 3 goals on 8 shots in about 13 minutes. They thought the puck went up and out of play. Curtis fires one and hit a body in front over to the far side. Hughes with it. Flips it forward. Plays it right to the slot, broken up by a stick. As it's sent all the way up to the top of the right point. Jack's unable to keep it alive, so they regroup from their own zone. The captain sends it across, and it's chopped deep by Yates. Killian will be watched by Mansfield, and he gets thrown to the ice right on the far side. Good clean hit from Ryan Mansfield. Kusler sends it across. 6:40 left to go here in the first period. Sykes trying to battle hard with the Jackalopes player, but they win it. And they send it the other way. Now Mansfield tries to get a shot off, and he gets thrown down to the ice. No hand raised by the referee. Player that took down Mansfield was number 25 of the Corpus Christi IceRays. Or number 26, I believe. That might have been Brendan Rourke. And it was number 26, Brendan Rourke. Manzo will switch with Kuit. Manzo, top of the circles. Manzo will send it back over to Kuit. Kuit along the near side of boards. Hoyer tries to come away with it from the slot as it's flipped forward. Kuznetsov taken away by the puck by the great defense of Odessa as we have under 5:30 left to go here in the first period. Jacks are up 1-0 thanks to Nick Ahern. Hoyer in the mix of things. Jacks win the board tackle back up to the top of the right point. Now the IceRays have it. They'll enter far side. They leave it in the left circle, and the shot will just find the glass over on the near side. Duclair will come away with it. Sends it across. And it's softly played right towards Carney, who had trouble handling it at the top of his crease. Still no whistle. And Duclair was unable to gather it as it's sent deep into the Jacks' territory. 4:40 left to go here in the first. Twisted on back as there was a hard collision deep in the Jacks' zone. And now Odessa. Perdian didn't have a breakaway opportunity as he tried to send it on back to Duclair, but he was too far ahead of the play. Zagzebski had his pocket picked by Bankier. Great defensive play by him as he'll drape it on back to the captain, Frank DeVorney, a Wisconsin native. Will hold it behind Proctor with 4:05 left to go here in period number 1. Jacks are on side. Ahern from ice level trying to send it across to open ice on the far side, unable to do so. It's worked all the way back towards Proctor. He was able to poke check. That one's flung at Proctor. He was able to shrug it aside, and he'll knife it over into the corner once again by Proctor. Ahern had his stick lifted and was unable to do much of that as he heads to the bench. Fed right to the circle. They fire one. Rebound sitting loose and recovered by Corpus Christi. Foglia will just drop it off as Corpus Christi will fire it along the wall. 3:15 left to go here in the first period. Jacks are buzzing here in the opening frame. Foglia across the red line, and will just lob it into the right corner. Jacks will once again wait behind Proctor and wait for their offensive group to set up as they fire it all the way down without getting tipped. So icing is called against Odessa. 2:45 remains here in period number 1. Jacks are up 1-0. Offensive zone draw for Corpus Christi. Casey against Kusler. Anderson to drop it. And they actually didn't like the face-off, so they will redo it. Three of the last 4 games, the Jacks have scored the first goal between these two teams as Kusler will fling it off the glass back out to the neutral zone. Sent all the way deep by the IceRays as Proctor will leave it, sent across to the far side. Softly played forward, and now the Jacks are in enemy territory. Sent around the yellow trim, out in front, and that one, I believe, might have hit the post. If not, it might have got a piece of Carney's blocker, but it remained out. As there was great net front presence by the Jacks with under 2 to play here in the opening period. Sent over to Rourke, near side. Played forward to Kuznetsov. Sights all alone as his team is making changes behind him, and 2 Jackalopes staple him against the glass. And now Hoyer took a big hit from behind as well. Manzo tried to drape it right over back to Hoyer. And Jacks will just sail it back out to the neutral zone.
over to the far side, their own side. 1:20 left to go. Now it was Manzo all by himself as his four other counterparts were headed to the bench for a quick change. From the left circle, that shot was saved by Proctor. Corpus Christi with it, down low. Board battle is won. Duclair with it. Looking for a pass back, doesn't get it. Manzo is muscled off the puck. Jacks still keep it alive as Kelly was almost able to get it deep into the corner as it was cleared out by the IceRays. Under 45 seconds left to go here in the opening period. Jacks trying to maybe go up by a pair to end period number one. They scored 65 seconds in thanks to Nick Ahern as they keep their goal streak alive. Zagzebski gets around one, and it's played back out to the open neutral zone by Connor Kuhn. As Duclair wipes out, as he is in hot pursuit of Foglia. IceRays haven't had too many successful zone entries as it's whipped right back by the Jacks. Under 5 seconds left to go. And they will just happily hold it against the yellow trim off to the left of Stefan Carney, who will make it through the first period here tonight, unlike he did yesterday. However, he allowed a goal within the first 65 seconds. The Jacks are up 1-0 after the first period as they take another lead heading into the locker room here from the American Bank Center. Again, third place Jacks going up against fifth place IceRays in Corpus Christi, Texas. Stay tuned on the Odessa Jackalopes YouTube live page, as I'll be back in just a little bit to get started for the middle frame from the American Bank Center. Jacks 1, IceRays 0. Welcome back into the American Bank Center as we get ready for period at number 2 from the American Bank Center. This is also game at number 2. Jacks are 3-2-1 against Corpus Christi this season, and they currently have a 1-0 lead here for the middle frame. Again, Corpus Christi going right to left. And the opening draw for period number 2. As the Jacks winning it. As they work it in the enemy territory, it's fired right back. IceRays. Send it along the right wing. Top of the right circle in that shot. Goes high and out of play as there's a big hit thrown by Wojciechowski right at the end. As Duclair is also in the mix of things, as with Charlie Merkley, one of the assistant captains. Jude Curtis in the mix of things as well. As Contreras and Gilbert look on. And Merkley gives a right-handed shove at Wojciechowski. This is only 21 seconds into the second period. You have Carlock giving a little cross-check or two as went back to the ice, or as they were making their way from the ice to the bench, I should say. Penalty box doors remain shut. Duclair from Odessa wins it back. Sent over to the near side boards. Duclair tries to send it far side, and that one will sail right past Carney. That one's tipped right back to Carlock. Carlock will exit his zone and then enter enemy territory. Sends it over to Seitz from the left circle. It was bouncing for him, so he's unable to settle it. As Perdian through a reversal hit on Casey. Kuznetsov drapes it over to Seitz. Now in the right circle, they have one, and they try a far side shot that goes all the way back up to the blue line. Duclair gets taken down from behind, and he'll head right to the bench for a quick line change as that one's covered up by Proctor. 18:43 left to go. Here in a period at number 2 from the American Bank Center. Jacks are up 1-0. IceRays backpedaling with it from their own zone. Played along the left wing, right in front of the benches, back over to center. Jacks flip it out from their own zone, all the way out to the neutral zone. Zagzebski fires one right into the chest of Proctor, who will just eat that one up and gather a whistle with 18:15 left to go here in period number 2. This will be an offensive zone draw for Corpus Christi. Blake Lewis to take it up against Ryan Kusler. Jacks come away with it. IceRays have it far side. They turn it over. Bodies out in front for the Jacks are unable to corral it as it's knifed all the way back up and out. Zagzebski gets a pass back out in front, kicked aside by Proctor. As Jacks will just fly out from their own end as Harvey rifles it right back towards Proctor. This being the second period, a little further away from the benches. Offside is Odessa, as they also look to get a new unit on the ice with 17:30 left to go here in the second period. Butler's shot hit a body in front as the Jacks turn their head the other way and fire it over to the far side boards. Akamiev, leave it for Crawley. And Proctor will rattle around the stanchion all the way out. It will slowly work. And no icing as Gilbert had it on that far side. Finn fires one over to the near side. Manzo works it to the end boards. As bodies come together on the far side. Backhanded off the end ball. Stepping up on the play was Tallinn, and he fires one across for an attempted backdoor pass as Dane Hoyard was unable to pick up the loose puck. And a good sidestep from Manzo. His pass across was broken up by Corpus Christi and launched out the other way. 16:20 left to go here in the second period. As a shot from Kelly from above the right circle is covered up by Carney, as he will allow his team to make some changes after he gets the whistle. 16-17 left to go here in period number 2. Offensive zone draw. Duclair against Merkley. Worked on back to the near side corner as the IceRays clear their zone off the stick of the captain, Curtis. Sent over to Merkley. He fires one, saved by Proctor. Got it right off his right blocker. Sent up top to O'Keefe, and he'll cover that one in left glove. As we were just over 4 minutes gone here in the middle period of regulation, I should say. Game at number 3 and game number 8 of the season series between these two teams. Tomorrow, 7:05 p.m. puck drop from the American Bank Center. And the Jacks aren't home again until March 11th and the 12th when they host the Amarillo Wranglers. As the Wranglers are currently in the midst of a struggling slump here in the new year. Currently around the out-of-town scoreboard, the Warriors are leading the Rhinos 2-0 after the first period. And the Brahmas are up on the Mudbugs 2-0 to start the second in North Richland Hills, Texas. And the Wranglers and the Ice Wolves just getting underway in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So for all the Jacks fans out there, we're certainly rooting for the Rhinos. And we are rooting for the Wranglers and the Mudbugs, as, again, the Jacks, an opportunity to try to pull within one of two first-place teams. Kelly was almost able to bank that one off of Carney and into the back of the net. He was able to cover it in the blue paint, so we'll have an offensive zone draw for the Jacks. No penalties in that first period, and Ahern's goal was assisted by Justin Hughes. Jacks have it. They tried to tuck it out in front. It rolled right off the stick of a Jackalope player. Is now the IceRays race the other way. Butler with it from the goal line. But all the way back up top and out as backpedaling with it is Corpus Christi. Near side to O'Keefe. Now right to the stick of Lewis, and he's stripped of the puck by Duclair, but O'Keefe steps up and fires it the other way. Jacks sent it all the way down. It was tipped, so no icing as they're battling along the near side corner. Nate's trying to fight for the loose puck as it's pinned up against the yellow trim. It was now kicked out momentarily by an IceRays player, then worked right back to the boards. Corpus Christi sends it along. Over to Harvey, far side. And he is absolutely demolished by Trevor Tallene, blown up from number 4. And now the Jacks surge the other way. Far side. They're unable to get a pass off. Offside are the Jacks as they quickly tag back up. IceRays fire it from their own zone. They turn it over at the logo. Now Bezier. Bezier backhands one towards Carney, and that's saved by the netminder for Corpus Christi. As we're about 6 minutes into the second period. Again, thank you for tuning in on the Odessa Jackalopes YouTube page for this audio-only coverage of this 3-3 series between the Jacks and the IceRays. Regardless of the outcome for tonight and tomorrow, with the win yesterday, the Jacks have 50 points, and the Warriors are only playing 2 games against El Paso, as that one goes up and out of play. So even if the Warriors sweep the last place Rhinos, they will be at 49 points and will be unable to tie the Jacks for third place. But of course, the destiny for the Jacks in terms of getting to the playoffs will be solely in their hands, as of course they have to be going up against teams that have swept them. The only teams, Corpus Christi and Lone Star, for the entire month of February. They'll close out the season series between those 2 teams, and then March they'll see Shreveport, Wichita Falls, Amarillo, and New Mexico. And then in April it will be Shreveport, Amarillo, and New Mexico, as that shot was saved by Proctor. Kept alive by Gilbert. Now into the left corner. It's played over the other way by Corpus Christi. Far side. That one deflects right past Proctor over to the near side glass. Back here with it. Oh, banking off the boards on the far side. Puck is jumping all over sticks on that far side as it is cleared by the Jacks, and icing will be called against them with 12:53 left to go. Here in period number 2, icing called against the Jacks, so offensive zone draw upcoming for Corpus Christi. Again, only 4 teams from each of the 4 divisions make the playoffs. The Jacks haven't been to one in the last few seasons, and have certainly been making a case as to why they deserve to be one of the 4 teams. Have been in a playoff spot since October, one of the longest reigning teams to hold a playoff spot. It might not be until mid-March until we see somebody gain a playoff berth. Usually there's at least maybe 2 teams that are kind of already out of the mix of things, and now a turnover. Jacks going the other way. Played over to Manzo as he pushes it out in front, and somehow that stayed out with the traffic just above Kearney's crease. Over 7 minutes gone here in the second period. As Kuznetsov, and the puck poked right off his stick. He pins a man along the near side. Manzo shoved off. Back over to Wojciechowski. Wojciechowski being guarded by a few IceRays players, and now Manzo slings it across to the far side. Left circle. Johnson will pivot. Send it all the way back up top. Wojciechowski's shot, and he bounces in and out of the chest of Kearney, but he pounces right back on the rebound for a whistle. As there's still 12:45 left to go here in the second period. Jacks up 1-0. Duclair up against Lewis for this offensive zone draw. Duclair second on the team in goals with 17. Dane Hoyard with 18 after his 2-goal performance last night. Sent down low. Perdian goes awkwardly into the back of the net. As the net was also dislodged, he is okay as he gets right back to 2 feet. And it looks like we'll do another offensive zone draw from the same circle. Shots after the first period favored the Jacks 10-7. They almost had 40 shots in yesterday's game. And my players to watch for this weekend series is Tanyan Bejier and Braden Rourke. Harvey gets it over to the near side. Across now for Killian. And it's worked deep by Corpus Christi. They throw one right out in front, and IceRays unable to knock it out of midair as the Jacks corral it from their own zone. Duclair had a stick slashed out of his hand. No call on the play. And Jacks go offside as there was also a slash on a Jackalope player from number 3 as he is to be escorted back to his respective bench. Number 3 was Matt Harvey, who took a slash on a Jackalopes player. Well, after the whistle, 11:17 left to go here in the second period. Of course, this is game number 4 of 5 in a row between these two teams, so tempers certainly can flare at any minute, especially away from the play, as hits favored the Jacks 28-19 through 60 minutes yesterday. Yates from the right circle. Yates plays it out in front, and that one will stay wide, and then a follow-up one-timer goes high and wide from Odessa, all the way back out to the center ice line. 10:45 remains here in the second period. IceRays unable to keep it alive, as now they play behind Proctor, as they will patiently work from their own zone. Kusler trying to battle with Curtis on the far side. Will make him retreat, and Curtis will turn and fire one from the red line. Played out in front, kicked aside by Proctor. And a big collision comes down low, back in the Jack zone. As two players are tangled up with one another, Merkley all over top of Charlie Bank here, and this is going to be still an offside call against Corpus Christi, as Merkley throws a hip check on a Jackalope player back in the middle of the ice. Merkley had a hat trick last weekend in game number 2. Sent all the way back up top. Left circle is shot from Wojciechowski. Stays wide. Back up top. Now left circle. Jacks work in. And it's covered up by Carter with under 9:30 left to go here in the second period. Jacks are up 1-0. Offensive zone draw for the Jacks. Hoyard loses the draw as it's spun back the other way by Corpus Christi. Backhanded out by the IceRays. Now near side for Tallene. Back gets played for the Jacks. Unable to get it deep into enemy territory. Casey, far side, he backhands one towards Proctor. That's easily punched aside. And Harvey's unable to keep it alive for his squad as he plays at the sights. He had trouble getting around the Jacks offense as it's sent forward by Tallene. After it is Finn, and he won't be able to get there in time, so icing is called against the Jacks with 8:48 remaining here in period number 2. The Jacks are 4-4-0-2 in their last 10 games, currently on a one-game win streak, as the Corpus Christi IceRays are 6-4 in their last 10, and with the 6-3 loss yesterday, they are on a one-game losing streak. They've allowed the second most goals at 138. The Jacks have the most goals scored in the South Division with 143. They've scored in every game so far this season, all 43 of them now. As it's sent back to the slot, picked off by Corpus Christi. That one ricochets all the way down. Past Johnson is shoveled out in front, and a delayed penalty coming against the Odessa Jackalopes. This is going to be the first power play opportunity of the game. It will go in favor of Corpus Christi. They went 2 for 5 yesterday and scored a goal in each period in the 6-3 loss. They scored on their first power play yesterday and then their fourth. And there's some Jackalopes fans in attendance, so again, thank you for showing your support all the way over in Corpus Christi, Texas, as they were just featured amongst the crowd at the American Bank Center. Yesterday, we saw a penalty shot that was given to Chris Duclair as he was hit from behind, taken down on his breakaway by number 5, Charlie Killian, and mainly because he couldn't get a shot off onto Damon Beaver, and that is why they rewarded him for a penalty shot. He did convert after a beautiful backhander up and over the shoulder of Beaver and to the roof of his cage. So a power play opportunity for Corpus Christi. A penalty kill is very important for the Jacks as they only lead 1-0 with 8:05 left to go here in the second period. Jacks now have 9 shorthanded goals this season, among the top 4 in the NAHL. Corpus Christi, they dance in, and a shot from Butler will go wide past Proctor. Just to the left of the IceRays bench. Killian sends it up to Zegzebski. Back over to Zegzebski, and his one-timer from the left circle goes high and wide. He likes to set up in that Alex Ovechkin wheelhouse over in the left circle. Killian, top of the blue line. Now to Butler. Butler gets around one, unable to cleanly get around the second as he's still trying to regroup. He has it in the left circle. He fires one towards Proctor and is denied as it's slapped all the way out by the Jacks with 7:05 left to go here in the second period. Great kill so far by that top penalty killing unit. As now the IceRays have to bring it out from behind Stefan Carney. Curtis leaves it. Jacks are able to bring it on back to the red line. So as Corpus Christi has to fire it back, Proctor comes out to play it. He'll fire around the stanchion, dribbles back up top. Near side for Gilbert. Gilbert being watched. Back up top to the right point. Now Foglia with it. Doesn't have a lane to shoot. Weaves his way back up top. Curtis with it. Curtis gets around one. He also neglects the shoot. Over to Foglia. He winds and fires one and through the traffic. It will deflect wide. Icing is waved off as Jude Curtis took his good old time getting back to the slow rolling puck as we go back to 5-on-5 hockey. Picked off by Kuhn. Yates gets away. Yates wraps around, tries to tuck it up. He scores! Rylan Yates makes it 2-0 Odessa on a wraparound. 5:52 left to go here in period number 2. Riley Yates making something out of nothing on that play and surprising many at the American Bank Center, especially some of the IceRays players thinking Stefan Carney and that far side post hugged enough. Yates found enough of an opening and was able to get it past Stefan Carney as Hughes shovels it deep. And a huge hit thrown that opens up the door on that corner side. There's been a few board issues at the Ector County Coliseum, and we've seen some of those instances where the entire door and boards have kind of given way. Desmond Johnson leaving right now with the equipment manager Bob Pope down the Jackalopes tunnel, so I will keep my eye on that in case I see him return. It could be, again, an equipment issue, and he needs to be addressed. 5:38 left to go here in the second period. They fire one. Stopped by Carney from the slot. At the top of the crease, it's still loose, and it will deflect over to the near side. There was mayhem at the top of Carney's crease. It dribbles over to the far side. Jacks are offside as ahead of the play was Tallene. 5:18 left to go here in period number 2. Jacks up by a pair. 2-0's the score. IceRays send it around their own trim along the near side. And a big collision between Bankier and the opposition. This is going to be called against Odessa. As they find it now, and it looks like it's going to be Bankier. 2-minute minor for roughing. Head coach Scott Dewar talking things over with the referee. And fanning on the one-timer was Foglia. As it saw to the near side for Hoyer. Short-handed, he fires one far that's deflected off the body of Carney. As Chris Duclair was actually given the roughing minor, not Charlie Bankier. Nonetheless, it is still a penalty kill, a Kenner Printing penalty kill for the Jacks. Curtis with it from the left circle. Plays it across as he tried to find Merkley. Too far ahead for him. Another important penalty kill for the Jacks. Under 4 to play here in the second period. All 3 goals played out in front, and this one bounces past Proctor off of Blake Lewis with 3:47 left to go. And once again, special teams goal from Corpus Christi. All 4 so far here in this 3-3 series have come via special teams, 3 of which have come on the power play. They are 1 for 2 now on the man advantage. And they play right to the top of the crease, tipped home by Blake Lewis. And what's interesting is last weekend when these two teams met, Corpus Christi had one of the worst ranked power play percentages across the North American Hockey League. They were among the bottom 5, if I do recall. And they have kind of just been having their way on the power play against the Jacks penalty killing unit over the last now 4 games in a row. Still tomorrow, 7:05 puck drop for that game and the conclusion of this season series. Jacks trying to wrap out in front, and leaping on it was Carney, just at the top of his crease with 3:13 left to go here in the second period. Jacks still without a power play on the game. Corpus is 1 for 2. They gave the holding minor earlier to Desmond Johnson, as the Jacks were able to kill that one off successfully. But not the most recent roughing minor called against Chris Duclair. Sent over to the near side. Knifed back below the goal line as the Jacks fight for it behind Carney's net. Under 3 to play here in the second. Tallene will sail it deep as he keeps play alive for the Jacks. They tried to send it back up top to the left point as Tallene has to get around one. Curtis had to leap over Tallene. Contreras in the slot. Back up for Casey, and his shot goes high and wide past Proctor. Tallene was wiping out, but he was also in the path of Curtis, so he had to jump over him. They were almost able to get a shot off between the circles, but Jacks were able to back check fast enough to negate that, as it's sent all the way back up top. Harvey's shot deflects towards Proctor, and he'll cover that one up as there's some more pushing and shoving thereafter. Seitz tangled up and bear hugging, I believe that's Kelly, and it is. As Seitz practically took himself down to the ice as well as Kelly, as it looks like they will both be going opposite from their bench and into the penalty box with 2:05 left to go here in period number 2. Maybe the IceRays thinking that they're not too hot, only 5-on-5, so why not cut things down to 4-on-4? As again, all 4 of their goals here in this 3-3 series, this is game number 2, have been on special teams, 3 of which have come on the power play. 1 was shorthanded from Nathan Butler in period number 2. It is certainly difficult, even for any officiating group, to try to have calm heads and tempers throughout 60 minutes of play when 2 teams are playing each other for 5 straight games, even though they are split amongst 2 weekends. But a 3-3 series now, and of course on top of this, they know that these are the last 2 games they'll see one another in the regular season. There is still, of course, a potential for one another to face each other in the playoffs. Jacks hold 3rd place right now. Corpus Christi on the outside looking in from the 5th place spot. But with Wichita Falls currently up on El Paso, that does not bode well for the IceRays. In fact, it also really does help the Jacks as it keeps Corpus Christi further away from trying to get into a playoff spot. Top 2 teams get home ice advantage for the first round. First 2 rounds, best of 5. First place plays 4th, second place 3rd. Dvorny brings it along the far side. Dvorny fires it diagonally to the near side. Hoyer tries to fire one, and it sails up and over the glove of Carney. Just 90 seconds left to go here in period number 2, as Killian is hit by Dvorny. All the way back up top, it will go for Merkley. Again, some 4-on-4 hockey as it's worked the other way. Now by Manzo, who's losing momentum, peels on back, sends it all the way across for Hoyer. That one jumps over his blade, and it's settled down by Killian as he pirouettes below his own goal line. 60 seconds left to go here in the middle period. Jacks are up 2-1. And we'll slide on back to the neutral zone as, again, 4-on-4 hockey here from the American Bank Center. Kelly and Seitz in the box. Open ice for Lewis, and a shot at a body in front. Lewis had the power play goal on the lone one for Corpus Christi so far. 30 seconds left. They fired across O'Keefe, and he tries to lift it right past the shoulder of Proctor, and it's played out by the Jacks. IceRays are offside. Knife forward by Odessa. Just 15 seconds left to go here in the second period. One last rush for the IceRays. They'll leave it back to Butler, and he's stripped of the puck, and now Duclair with 5 seconds left. Duclair from the left circle tries to get one across the Mansfield, but it's saved by Carney with 0.8 seconds left to go here in the middle period. 2-1 Jacks lead from the American Bank Center. Again, we have some 4-on-4 hockey to close out this second period and a little bit of carryover to start the third. As actually they had the Roughing Miners taken with 2:05 left to go. So it will be 5-on-5 hockey. There is no power play tracker underneath the score bug here on Hockey TV, but Duclair up against Merkley. Duclair tried to get the draw as there was a little altercation, and now a big scrum ensues there after Tallene in the mix of things. Wojciechowski, and now Butler grabs Tallene from behind. I don't know if Butler is trying to pick a fight with the biggest man on the team, as now Carlock is tangled up with Tallene. And see if anything comes of this scrum afterwards. Linesman and referee trying to grab all the numbers and names in the mix of things, as, again, we will see what comes of this. Wojciechowski did throw a jab at the opposition right as the horn sounded, ending period number 2, as Carlock and Wojciechowski still exchanging some words. And now Butler almost basically chokes Tallene from behind. You could see that with his stick across his throat practically. As now the two linesmen and referees stand between both benches. Gilbert was also in the mix of things, as we have 40 minutes gone in the books here from the American Bank Center, and tempers are certainly rising on up. Head coach Scott Dewar livid on the bench that nothing was called either way, as from what I'm hearing from IceRays broadcaster Drew Steele in my right ear. And again, we'll have to wait and see if anything comes of this to start the final period of regulation here in game number 2. Jacks are up 2-1 at the American Bank Center. Stay tuned as you are watching Odessa Jackalopes hockey on the audio-only YouTube live feed over on the Jacks YouTube channel. Welcome back into the American Bank Center. You're listening to the audio-only feed here on the Jacks YouTube Live channel as no penalties come out of that melee after the horn sounded to end 2 periods of play. There was a mix-up between Tallene and Butler as well as Wojciechowski. And number 12 from Corpus Christi, as that was Brady Carlock, one of the assistant captains. As Butler almost had practically a stick wrapped around the throat of Tallene as he was pulling back on him. But nothing comes of it. We start the third period 5-on-5. As this is game number 4 of 5 in a row between these two teams. And the Jacks have a 2-1 lead heading into the final period. Kelly trying to drape it down lower. Couldn't get enough on it as now it's sent to Contreras, one of the fastest IceRays players. He'll wheel around the horn and sends it right into a jackalope stick. Gets all the way back and was able to stick lift the opposition as it was sent back over to the Jack zone. Long stretch pass that is tipped, so no icing called against Odessa. As they lose it, Ahern without his stick as he collided with an opposing player and lost it in the process. As Corpus Christi brings it out the other way, behind Proctor's cage. Over a minute gone here in the third period. The only goal scored by Corpus Christi was on a power play off the stick of Lewis as he was able to easily tap it home from a pass from Casper Gilbert. Ahern with it. Sends it back over to the far side. I'm hearing Drew Steele of the IceRays, their broadcaster, say that there's a lot of residual water left over on this ice for the third period. Not sure how much of a factor that's going to play in part into the final 20 minutes of play here from the American Bank Center. Game 3, I should say, tomorrow, 7:05 p.m. as the Jacks send it from zone to zone. Played out the other way by Harvey. Kuznetsov, far side. He's angled right to the boards. He retrieves it. Back up to the blue line. And he tried to drop it back. It was broken up by the Jacks as he tried to play it over in front of his own bench. Corpus Christi with it through the logo on the far side. Seitz launches it deep. 17:30 left to go here in the third period. They shovel one from below the right circle that's covered by Proctor off a very costly turnover down low by the Jacks, but good vision by Alex Proctor, the Dallas, Texas native, coming up huge there in the butterfly stance. This will be an offensive zone draw for Corpus Christi. Wanamaker up against Hoyer. One over to the near side boards. Brought up the wing by the Jacks. Almost holding it was Tallene. Back over to Crawley. Crawley and now Tallene on the far side. Wojciechowski, I believe, was going at things with Rourke between the circles. Nothing comes of that as they separate and play is broken up right at the red line as Tallene will gain it and flip it forward. 16:40 left to go here in the third period. Jacks are up 2-1. Duclair with it. Duclair tried to play it out in front, and the IceRays picked it off. Back up to the blue line. And actually rolled out to the center ice line, so Jacks were offside as they had to regroup. Merkley. He brings it up along the near side boards. He was met by Frank DeVorney, the captain of the Jackalopes team. There's still somebody on, that was Merkley, that was on top of DeVorney stick played out in front. They try to backhand it pass. Carney from Duclair as he tried to go from left to right. That one's deflected up and out of play. Now some mayhem going on at the top of the point. Merkley with Bankier. As the cooler heads will prevail in these situations. Again, the Jags haven't had the best of special teams in their last few games against Corpus Christi. Now giving up four special teams goals to them, 3 on the power play, 1 shorthanded. So they are dominating the 5-on-5 play, and that's where they have to remain. That is where they are best at. We are over 4 minutes gone here in the third period, and the Jacks are up 2-1. After 2 periods of play, the Warriors were up 4-1 on the El Paso Rhinos. And the Brahmas are up 2-0 as they're about to head into the second period intermission on Shreveport. Ice Wolves up 1-0 on the Wranglers with about 2:30 left to go in the first period in New Mexico. Shots right now favor the Jacks 25-24. IceRays had 16 shots in this second period to the Jacks 14. As the Jacks tried to spin it down deep. Intercepted by Corpus Christi. Zagzebski stripped of the puck. And that one will tip up and out of play into the stands for Souvenir. From the neutral zone drop. IceRays played into the Jack zone. Bankier's on that far side. Nothing came of that altercation between Merkley and Bankier. Lost at the circle. Over onto the stick of Ahern. He'll sift it over to the right boards. Jacks send it from low to high, all the way up top for Kuit. He fires one. It's tipped out in front from Hughes, but saved by Carney. As Hughes will bring it back up to the blue line. They fire one. And caroms over to the near side boards as that one bounces all the way back up top. As Wojciechowski sits down Butler in open ice territory right in front of the IceRays bench. 14:40 left to go here in the third. And they say offside against the IceRays. (26-24) shots favor Odessa. As from the neutral zone drop, they fire one off the end wall back to the side of the mesh of Proctor's net. He comes out to just cover that one up for a quick whistle. That was just from a quick zone entry from Corpus Christi, practically from the top of the left point, and just snapped it off the boards and redirected back towards Proctor, and he decided to allow play to settle down as his team can also make some changes. Corpus Christi has it for Seitz towards the right of Proctor. Brought over to the near side. Seitz played it right into a Jackalope stick, but unable to keep it alive were the Jacks as it's sent right back into their own zone. Spinning the other way with it is Bankier. As Bankier is dangerously dancing with it behind Proctor. As with one hand on his stick, he'll direct it over to the near side boards. 6 minutes gone here in the third period. Across they play it. That one's caught by Proctor. Played and no whistle. Great quick play by Proctor. As he had noticed that He had some numbers to his right, but ever since he played it, the Jacks have been unable to clear. IceRays have it in the corner, as now it's pinned up against the boards. 2 IceRays and 3 Jackalopes in after it. Trying to win the board battle are the Jacks. It will come loose for them. Onto the stick of Kusler. Kusler will rattle the glass all the way up top. Kept alive by Foglia and then turned right back over to the Jacks, as they will get it all the way back over to the neutral zone, as they actually caught a hand pass against Corpus Christi with 13:10 remaining in the third period. Jacks lead 2-1. Goal scored by Nick Ahern and Rylan Yates for the Jacks. Ahern in the first, Yates in the second. It was 2-0. And then it was Lewis on the power play in the second period, getting the first goal and the only goal for Corpus Christi, ending Proctor's hopes of a shutout as icing is called against Corpus Christi. IceRays have it from their own zone. Fired along the near side boards and out. And icing once again against the IceRays. And I should say this as Kuwit's out on the ice and on your video screen here on Hockey TV. He is playing in his 100th NAHL game. I did not say that at the top of my broadcast, but do want to congratulate him. Where it's also not too far away from hitting 100 himself. Proctor comes out to play it. Will rattle around the glass all the way to the near side boards. And the puck is retrieved by Odessa. They gain the red line and fire it deep. After it is Manzo. Manzo as well as Finn trying to fight for it below the goal line and bring it out to the middle of the ice. Played over to the far side. And back over to Carlock. 12:15 left to go here in the third. Jacks are up 2-1 over 5th place Corpus Christi. An offside is called against the IceRays. But more information on Kuwit's 100th game. He has played over 70 in a Jacks jersey. He also spent time with the St. Cloud Blizzard and Norsemen, as well as playing 4 games for the Jamestown Rebels. As for this neutral zone draw, Wanmacher giving a little whack at Duclair, and he's getting a warning from the referee. Anderson to drop the puck. Tomorrow, the final game between these two teams of the regular season. Duclair and Wanmacher still watching one another as play is going on along the near side boards. They finally separate. Good defensive play by Odessa as they sweep it on back out to the neutral zone. Kelly applies pressure on the far side, picked off by Odessa. Duclair in after it. He has his stick taken from him. No call. Jack's still without a power play. Corpus Christi is 1 for 2. 11:30 left to go here in the third period. Sent right on back to the right circle. Broken up by Corpus Christi and played out along the far side. Crawley all by himself as his team is making changes behind him. Tallene will gather on the far side corner. Played up by Out. And a shot hit a body in front. Deflects over to the near side circle. As it looks like a shot block. We'll have an IceRays player slow to get back to the bench. 11:05 here to go in period number 3. It's still fascinating. 40 minutes of apparently clean hockey from Corpus Christi here at the American Bank Center that did have offsetting penalties when Colby Seitz and Ryan Kelly went to the box. Again, no penalties in the first period and only a total of 4 players were assessed minors in the second. However, we did have that 4-on-4 hockey for a little bit. It was Christi that had that roughing minor where the IceRays converted their lone goal of the game, making it 4 straight special team goals from them. 5-on-5, heavily controlled and dominated by Odessa. Ahern gets around one as he tried the roof it past Carney. Oh, that would have been one of the highlight reel plays for the NHL had he been able to convert. 10:40 remaining here in the third period. Shots are 27-26 in favor of Corpus Christi, as they hold the line on the far side. Proctor angles it over to the far side corner, or near side corner, I should say, as it's flung up but not out. Hughes having trouble playing it in the right circle. Lewis with it, sends it to Zagzebski. And his firing shot is turned aside, and now the Jacks will go into the man advantage, as it looks like there's going to be a high sticking called against Corpus Christi. Zagzebski, the guilty party. And that was Justin Hughes, still slow to get back to 2 feet. Just off to the right side of your camera here on Hockey TV, as we're about halfway into this third and final period from the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi, Texas. High sticking is the call, and an opportunity for the Jacks to go back up by a pair. So a 5-on-4 power play for the Jacks after high sticking was called on Zagzebski. The first time the Jacks are on the man advantage all game. Draws to the blocker side of Carney. One back by Hoard. Hoard tries to get it along the near side corner. Held against the boards by Carlock. Players going after Hoyard, and that's Merkley. Merkley and Hoyard meeting in the circle. Bankier fires one out in front, tipped wide. 9:35 left to go. That one bounces high right into the crease, whipped right back towards Carney, and stays wide over to the right circle. Jacks trying to convert on their only power play here of the game, and Merkley comes right back and gives a cross check to the back of Hoyard. And coming to help him with another cross check to the back was Carlock. (27-27) shots tied apiece. Goals or not, Jacks lead 2-1 with a chance to go up 3-1 if they can convert on their lone power play of the game. It's a Jersey Mike's man advantage. Under 9:15 left to go here in the third. IceRays wasting time below the goal line on this Jacks power play as they just keep holding it against the boards. Jacks try to send it back to the blue line, and it's now Butler. Sends it across. Sights, left circle, tries to pass it back. And it will stay wide as Bankier will twist it on back to the near side. Back over to Bankier with 8:40 left to go. About 35 seconds left of power play time for the Jacks. As Tallene will wait behind Proctor. And he'll bring it out. Passes it along to the right side. He'll leave it back. And offside is called as the Jacks get pushed across the line with 8:24 left to go here in the third. Neutral zone draw. Merkley to take it for Corpus Christi. Hughes for Odessa. Won by the IceRays. All the way back out to the logo. Merkley with it. He's got Contreras to his left. Merkley's shot saved by Proctor, and it's turned aside by the Jacks. And back out to the neutral zone. IceRays had a shorthanded goal yesterday off the stick of Nathan Butler. And they wave off the icing as we go back to 5-on-5 hockey. IceRays pass it back up top. That shot goes over the net over to the near side boards. That's dug out by the Jacks. Kusler applying the forward check as it's sent back over to Jude Curtis. The captain cuts to the left side. He's got options in the slot. And his shot is fought off by a body in front. Across to the near side pass for Mansfield. Ryan Mansfield pinned up against the boards by Foglia. 7:15 left to go here in the third. Only a 1-goal advantage for the Jacks. The score is 2-1. Along the left side, they fire it deep. Near side now in the Jack zone. Played back to the red line and flipped out by Corpus Christi as the dribbling puck is settled down by the Jacks from their own zone. They're able to knife it over to Finn right in front of the Jacks bench from the left side. As he'll flip it diagonally into the right corner. O'Keefe for the IceRays turns it over. Finn gets it, plays it out in front, and Manzo unable to grab a hold of it and redirect it towards Kearney as it's whipped deep by the IceRays. We'll sail around the yellow trim to the near side. 6:30 left to go here in regulation. Played out in slot and a kick saved by Proctor from his right pillow. Between the circles and a huge turned aside save by Proctor. Keep his team up 2-1. Top Prospects Tournament netminder. Big hit thrown and a hand pass was called as two Jackalopes had collided and fellow teammates thought it was an IceRay hit. As that is where the altercation is coming from now with 6:08 left to go here in the third. 2-1 Jacks lead. Here from the American Bank Center. Again, the Jacks were only swept twice this season at the hands of two teams they were seeing for the entire month of February. They already played one of them on the start of their first 3-3 series of the month on Thursday in a shootout loss to the Lone Star Brahmas. Since then, it is now going to be 5 straight between them and Corpus Christi. And then next weekend, a Friday-Saturday matchup in North Richland Hills, Texas, as the Jacks will travel to play the Lone Star Brahmas and conclude their season series with them. Again, Brahmas and New Mexico tied in first place with 53 points. And like I stated earlier in the broadcast, Odessa and Corpus Christi have played the most games out of the South Division. This is game number 43 for both of them. The Jacks are all for the final weekend of February, which will really show kind of where they sit among the South Division teams, who will catch up to them in the standings as that shot deflects up and out of play. And as Butler was stick handling through a few Jackalopes. I think he wanted a call but didn't get it. Jacks are 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Corpus Christi is 1 for 2. 5:55 left to go here in the third period, and I'll do my best to try to listen in to Drew Steele's call to see when head coach Mike Lisi might pull Stefan Kearney from the draw. Casey fires one past Proctor. And behind his net. That one's turned right towards Proctor from the top of the right point. And we'll get another whistle and another offensive zone draw coming up for Corpus Christi. No 5-on-5 goals so far from the IceRays here. As we're in game number 2, they fire one. Rebounds loose. And it will tip all the way over to the near side boards as it's dumped out by the Jacks. They're on side. Hughes will shovel it deep. Yates had the second goal for Odessa. Back in the second period as he tries to fire it back to the defense. No one was there in a black and red jersey, so going back is Wojciechowski. Desmond Johnson went off towards the end of the second period with a few minutes left with equipment manager Bob Pope. I've yet to really see him come back with about 5 minutes left to go here in the third. And I'm doing this game remotely from the offices at the Ector County Coliseum, and they turn it over and a shot in and out of the chest of Carney. Foglia on the far side. Sends it rink wide near side right in front of the benches at the American Bank Center. As maybe that's why you're seeing Kusler play a little bit more defensively as he shovels that one off the glass and the other way. Foglia from the left circle. That one dribbles right towards Proctor, but stays wide as it's swept back the other way and out to center ice. With under 4:30 left to go here in the third. Game number 3 of this 3-3 series tomorrow at 7:05 p.m. Foglia sends it out to the left circle, saved by Proctor. As Corpus Christi fires one from above the left circle that kicks over to the near side boards. Now below the goal line, behind Proctor's net, now off to his left-hand side. And it's shoveled out by the Jacks as they are trying to get a new unit onto the ice. Under 4 to play here in the third. Proctor unable to stop the puck's momentum behind his cage. Over to the near side, Wanamaker's shot. Saved off the right leg by Proctor as Finn is able to clear the zone. Carney still between the pipes for Corpus Christi. As Duclair strips the opposition of the puck, fires one when Carney rebounds loose, but the whistle came from the referee as he had it on his stick from the circle. Under 3:30 left to go here in regulation. Referee is Kunto. A new name to this refereeing group in the NAHL. Haven't seen his name appear on the game summary sheet this season, as far as my knowledge serves me. 3:27 left to go here in the third. Offensive zone draw for the Jacks. Merkley wins it. Back to Gilbert. Carlock sends it along the far side boards. Contreras with it. Being watched by Wojciechowski. Curtis fires one. And the sharp angle sails high and wide. Big hit thrown from Kelly. Jacks trying to race the other way. Wojciechowski laces a shot across deep into enemy territory. Under 3 minutes left to go here in the third. I don't think Mike Glisi is waving on Carney as it's dumped off the glass but kept alive by Foglia from the top of the right point. There's one Jackalope player kind of being pestered by a few IceRays right in front of their bench. Carney's still in his cage as the puck is directly to his right. 2:30 left to go here in the third. Jacks up 2-1. This is one of the closest games that these two teams have played one another. One of them exceeded 60 minutes of play back in December before the two teams headed into their winter break as they flip one backhand to Proctor. His stick is just to the side of him, but he will get his paddle back as play goes the other way. Yates tries to get around Foglia. His momentum is stopped as it's worked back below their goal line. From near to far, O'Keefe sends it. Under 2 minutes left to go here in the third. Carney still set up in his net as play is pinned up against the penalty box boards on the far side. Jacks enter. Mansfield. Draped all over him is O'Keefe as they try to fire one back out in front. And good strip of the puck as Finn, I think that was Finn at least, gets hit up high. No call on the play. No, that was Kusler. My apologies. 90 seconds left to go. They fire one off the end boards. Jacks having great pressure here as of late. Carney still being hemmed in. The puck is just dead stopped behind the goal line. No one was willing to get to that as it's tipped back into the Jack zone. 70 seconds left. Jacks have it behind Proctor as they fire one right past their bench all the way down as icing is called against the Jacks with 1:03 left to go here in the third period at the American Bank Center. And Mike Lisi, head coach of the Corpus Christi IceRays, makes a timeout here with 63 seconds left to go. Or at least I thought he did. They were ready to drop the puck in the Jack zone. There was only 3 IceRays players on the ice, 5 for the Jackalopes. And there was an IceRay player shouting out the linesman to get their attention to the timeout, and it's finally given to Corpus Christi here with 63 seconds remaining in regulation. And thank you for tuning in to the Jacks YouTube channel for the audio-only feed, as again I'm doing this remotely from Odessa, Texas at the Ector County Coliseum. Not traveled with the team for this 3-3 series. I will be at the NYTEX Sports Center next weekend to bring you action between the Jacks and the Lone Star Brahmas, as that's going to be a big battle. Easily 2 of the top 3 teams out of the South Division. Again, regardless of how this weekend goes for either one, the Jacks cannot fall below 3rd. They can, however, get to 54 points. They have to obviously win this one and tomorrow. They're 63 seconds away from doing so in regulation. And if they're able to do so, it would be the 21st loss for the IceRays. Mudbugs at 41 points, Wranglers at 40. They are still on the heels of Corpus Christi. Jacks trying to gain some separation amongst them and some non-playoff teams as it's one back up top. Foglia across. 6 skaters out there in cream-colored jerseys for Corpus Christi as the net is empty 200 feet the other way. 50 seconds left to go here in the third period. Play back up top to Curtis. Now to the left circle. There's only been special teams goals from the IceRays here in these 2 games. Now to the left circle. And it gets caught up in the skates of an IceRay player just to the right of Proctor. This is a 6-1-5 advantage. Net empty as Carney was pulled and a wrist shot is snapped past Proctor. Foglia trying to hold at the top of the right point. Jacks trying to dig away in it right in front of their bench. Contreras wins it, sends it down low to Merkley. He'll twist and turn. Contreras gets a slash at Tallene, gets away from it. As he takes him down, they turn it over. Jacks fire it the other way, all the way to the empty net, and they score! Empty net goal for the Jacks, making it 3-1. Here with under 10 seconds left to go in period number 3. 7 seconds to be exact. As they credit it to Tanyan Begier. He gets the empty net goal. And the nail in the coffin for the Jacks right now, as they are just 7 seconds away from their 24th win. Puck has been dropped. And the last game between these 2 teams of the regular season tomorrow, 7:05, Gilbert wraps his hand around the helmet of Finn as the horn sounds, ending 60 minutes of play with the Jacks winning 3-1 here from the American Bank Center. They win back-to-back games against Corpus Christi for the first time since March 2nd and the 3rd of 2018. That was the last time they swept them as well. As Out of the last 4 games between these two teams, the Jacks have taken 3 of the 4. They're looking to make it number 4 tomorrow, 7:05, to conclude the season series between these two South Division foes, and also end the 5 games in a row, the most either one is seeing an opponent here this regular season. Again, back on audio-only YouTube live feed on the Jackalopes YouTube channel tomorrow, 7:05 p.m. puck drop. You will not want to miss the conclusion of this 5 games in a row between Corpus Christi and your Odessa Jackalopes as they take this one by a score of 3-1 as they still hold sole possession of 3rd place. They get 52 points with their 24th win. And now they are 1 point behind the Ice Wolves and the Brahmas, who are still tied at 1st place, but both of those teams were in the lead. As I will just take a brief second to go around the NAHL scoreboard and focus on the South Division teams. Wichita Falls up 5-1 over El Paso with 9:20 left to go in the 3rd, so that's practically all she wrote for that one. Mudbugs trailing the Brahmas 2-1 with under 17 minutes left to go in the 3rd, and the Ice Wolves up 1-0 over the Wranglers as they still have 15 minutes left to go in the 2nd period over there at the Outpost Ice Arenas in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Again, tomorrow, 7:05 p.m. to wrap up this 3-3 series, the final 3-3 series of the season for the Jacks. They have now won 2 games here in the American Bank Center during this 3-3 series. They have not had a full 3-game win of a 3-3 series. They will go for that tomorrow at the American Bank Center. Jacks win 3-1.